Hello, I'm Jacob Check, and this is my Module 3 graded speech assignment. A portion of the comfort and enjoyment that we get from personal communication has decreased, causing much of our feelings of solitude during COVID. When we normally talk to other people, we are often doing things. We may be walking in the hall to our next class as we talk. We could be playing a sport during our conversations, or we could be playing a board game. But often, we are doing other activities while we talk. These other activities help fill silent gaps in conversation and lighten moods. It also diverts some of our attention away from just our conversation, causing our talk to be drawn out more. This allows us to have a much more comfortable experience when spending time with others, since even if we run out of things to talk about, we can still focus on and enjoy our activities together. Even when we were separated by quarantine, or prevented from seeing each other in person, we had access to phones and other methods of communication. We could have talked to each other with the same frequency as before, or even more, and yet, most of us didn't do that. Instead, we allowed ourselves to become lonely and isolated, and it wasn't just a few individuals' decisions to not communicate as much. Harvard released a report in February of 2021 that claimed 36% of all Americans and 61% of young adults feel serious loneliness. The article was Loneliness in America: How the Pandemic Has Deepened an Epidemic of Loneliness and What We Can Do About It. The most likely cause of our choices to communicate with others less frequently is our fear of silence, the awkward silence that engulfs our conversation when we run out of things to say and try desperately to think of something funny or interesting, only to stammer and say the wrong thing, then thinking we've embarrassed ourselves. Because we're only talking on the phone or by writing letters, we can't participate in many activities while we talk. We then have nothing to cover up the silent periods that naturally would occur during our conversation. We also have nothing else to focus our attention on without appearing to have an apathetic view of the conversation. All of this together makes our conversations seem both shorter and more dull, discouraging us from starting new conversations in the future. Our fear of conversation will start to fade away as we are able to see others in person more often, and as we are able to continue doing normal activities. We cannot expect an instant change, though. We have been living in a very antisocial environment for the last 2 years. As a result of this, many people have adapted to this socially distant way of life, and will need time to adjust back to what we consider normal for social interactions. Other people have simply grown comfortable with the new normal or have taken a liking to it since its beginning. Many less sociable people are not bothered nearly as much as average people are by the absence of in-person contact with others. If they don't play sports and don't go out of their home often, then their lives will be changed very little in comparison to someone that regularly participates in group activities and gatherings. These people may enjoy the option of holding business meetings online and talking to their friends over the phone. It would give them more time and flexibility since they wouldn't need to drive anywhere before attending such an event. There are also a large variety of online games that they could be playing with their friends, ranging from Call of Duty to Minecraft and even online shogi matches. So obviously, there are still many methods of alternative interactions that can be taken advantage of. Currently, it is somewhat clear to see that things are beginning to revert back to how they were before COVID. But that doesn't absolutely mean that things will. 2 years have passed with us living in an antisocial society, and 2 years is both plenty of time to adjust and also to forget. Of course, almost all of us can think back before COVID and remember what interactions were generally like. But because of our memories of how we interacted during COVID, the future normal will most likely be a mix of these two experiences, rather than a complete reversion to how things used to be. In order for us to function efficiently, society will be forced to work more like it did before COVID, rather than it did during it. But society has always been adapting, so we would be foolish and disappointed to expect everything to go completely back to normal, and for people to forget about their lifestyles during COVID. Many people felt convenienced and enjoyed the ability to participate in meetings and have discussions online. Some people also found that they didn't mind less frequent contact with others. Because of this, we will revert back to mostly normal, but it will take some people longer than others to accept that things are going back to the way they were, just like how it took some people longer to adapt to the less sociable lifestyle when we began living when COVID first started. In the end, things will revert back to normal at some point. In the meantime, we can observe and anticipate this change and then adapt to it. Thank you very much for your time. I was looking down because I was using a paper. I'm not sure if that would take points away from this graded speech or not, but I just wanted to say that I was using notes because I couldn't memorize it all. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a great day.